right. What's up, guys? Let me know if we're live. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so give me a thumbs up in the chat. I see we got Mike McClune, the Goon, in the house. We got G23.
What's up, fellas?
Guys, it's been a minute, but we got a super special guest, as you can see, Crackshot Preparedness. Been a while. We're going to get into what he's up to. Really exciting, man. Always exciting to have folks on the live stream that are really doing positive things in the community and doing them genuinely. G23, really appreciate that. Also, guys, during the video, I have my camera set up behind the monitor. So excuse me if it looks like I'm looking down when Crackshot is talking and not at my camera, because it's not a webcam. So forgive me if my eye contact looks a little off. I just want to call that out. But real quick, before we get started, guys, I want to give a huge shout out. It's been a minute. As you know, I've been traveling like crazy. But guys, in the next week or two, finally going to do the review on the Griffin Armament Prism sight on my AR-15. Big shout out to Griffin Armament. Really can't wait to do that. Really excited about this optic. Also got two optics for my pistols. One on my 10 millimeter from a company called Siley. The other one is on my Shield Plus from, O-Sight. Sorry about that. And last but not least, a really cool company I met at SHOT Show, actually, Crackshot,
Nice.
N96 Arms. So we're going to shoot this semi-automatic 12 gauge. So feel like I'm behind the ball. It's been about a month since I've done some really cool gun content. But guys, that stops tonight. Yeah. Like I said, we got a special guest on. For you guys to remember, we had Crackshot Preparedness on a few months back. Really an awesome guy. I met him through a tactical turkey giveaway. I was lucky enough to get his IFAK, which I carry everywhere. If you see it on Instagram. What's up, Carbon Q in the house?
Hey, Carbon.
Always appreciate her. She was one of the main reasons, Crackshot, we actually met, is what she put together. But
yep.
You know, for the folks that don't know, why don't we take a step back? You know, what we're going to talk about, we got a few things to discuss tonight. You know, Crackshot, what he's doing in the industry, super exciting 2025. The guy's already making big moves, which we've known. We're going to get into some of the trauma stuff, the IFAKs, but for you folks that don't know, let's take a step back. And Crackshot, why don't you introduce yourself and, you know, who you are and how you got started and a little bit of a background.
Right on. I'm Nate, and I started Crackshot Preparedness in December of 2023. The biggest reason, I was tired of seeing such high prices on necessary items. The markup has been insane. First aid kits, whether it was that, bug out bags, bug out bag equipment, any of that stuff, I feel like the pricing was just such a niche area that it just kind of snowballed on the markup. They could really charge whatever. Didn't necessarily know what avenue our company was honestly going to take, but my uncle was going to be an RSO at a gun event and asked me what he would need to carry in a trauma kit. So I built my first trauma kit outside of my own, tossed in exactly the same stuff that I carry anytime I go to the range. Most of my range time is outdoor shooting, so I'm well far away from any sort of hospital or any help. So if anything goes wrong, I need what I need to preserve my life and get me to help. And built him that, and kind of the rest is history at this point.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, I was really impressed, Crackshot, to your point, you know, prior to even meeting you, right? I built a real low budget trauma kit. And the reason was, you look at some of these, and I'm not going to name the companies, but guys that are charging $300-$400, you know, you look at some of the prices out there for some of these kits, it's pretty overwhelming, especially just bang for the buck, what you get in yours, right? Super impressive once again with the size of it. And guys, me and Crackshot talk also, and one of the things I was telling him for, a lot of folks that aren't in the 2A industry or some other folks, right? Even though this is an IFAK, we refer to it as whatever, like I was talking about, my girlfriend's son is into hiking, I'm into hiking. These are things, if you're into outdoor sports, whatever it is, mountain biking, hiking, kayaking, any adventurous type of stuff, this is something that you should have. You don't have to be a tactical expert.
Right.
You don't need that background to, have one of these in your backpack. It's especially so small and so convenient.
Yes. And G23 has a question, and it's a make or break. I believe it was December 18th of 2023. Nice. And Crackshot, so like I said, I know we met a few months ago, right? In the meantime, though, you have really been doing a lot in a positive way, right? It's more than just these IFAKs. We'll get into it in a few minutes. I'd love for you to talk about, and I don't want to steal your thunder, some of the other stuff you have coming out, but why don't you give folks just a heads up on some of the folks you've been meeting in the industry, what you have coming up in 2025. I'll let you discuss that for a moment. All right. So some of the people I've met, first and foremost, were the tactical turkeys at TriggerCon. Met them walking around as well as on the range day. Through them, obviously met you, Mud.
Yeah.
Then we've got Angry Sarge, Staccato Pam, and I mean, there's too many to list. We'll put it that way. We got craziest part about this is, me and Mud were talking about this in the I guess back room is what they call it on this thing, right? And Mud was actually the very first person that asked me to come on a live, which was like blew my mind all in itself. And now that we kind of have solidified ourselves in the community, which still blows my mind because this is just stuff that seems practical to me. And I don't know how to word it properly of just being blown away on it. But we got Matt over at Burning Powder Kicking Brass has really been a major supporter.
Awesome guy.
Carbon Q, of course, has been an absolute sweetheart through all this.
Carbon's the best.
Yep. And then Jail Customs Gun Camp, and we actually ended up with a invite to be a sponsor for GunCert this year, which all in itself has been just like not totally sure how to process that, but it was I don't know, it was that extra boost that we needed to build our confidence that we're not going anywhere. We're adapting kits to different sorts of formats to fit other things.
Yeah.
So we're trying to just, I guess, broaden our scope, whether it be a car loadout, whether it be a personal loadout, whatever's going to be in your bug out bag, something that you want to just carry in your grocery getter car. We're aiming for supplying law enforcement agencies. We've sold to such a wide array of different people in different professions that it's been mind-boggling in our reality.
Yeah, well, you deserve it because like we were talking, everyone in the chat knows, right? Everyone knows the people in this industry, and you can tell the folks that are really doing genuine things in Crackshot, what you're doing, right? Not you can tell you're not making these. Listen, we all have to make money at the end of the day, right?
Right.
That's the bottom line. But you can tell a guy like Crackshot, it's not his priority, right? His priority is putting together a good product, something that's helping people. And that's why you want to help people like this. I'm still a very small channel. So when you spoke about, coming on my live, listen, I was more honored to have you on the live than the other way around. Like, listen, we're still growing. But the 2A community really benefits from having folks like Crackshot because, once again, too, if you guys go back and you look at that live stream, and we'll get into some of it tonight, but he didn't just talk about the bag and what's in it and the price. Like, he literally broke down. He knows how to use everything from the tourniquets. You were showing the gauze, the Israeli bandage last time. So it's one thing to sell a product, but you're also educating folks, which is priceless, right? You can't put a price on that.
Well, and the majority of the stuff, like I said, that is in the kit is what I'm personally carrying anytime I go really anywhere. And the personal experiences that I've had where I've needed the equipment to help somebody, and those times where I didn't have it, improvising and building out of necessity is not necessarily something that you want to have to do in that actual moment, but it let me learn that I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not gonna be caught with my pants down in a situation like that ever again. And it has really solidified in my head that every single day we have the chance to either walk out without our bag, without our kit, without anything to serve us or potentially serve somebody else. We can either walk out without it, or we can make it a priority to make sure that we grab it every single time for that just in case.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and you got to think like that, right? It's not always it's funny. You look at back in the day, right? The term prepper, everybody 10, 20 years ago prior to COVID looked at preppers like they were whack jobs and everything else, right? And there were a few TV shows that didn't put people in the best limelight. But when you think about it, it doesn't have to be like a crazy scenario, right? It could be a power outage. It could be a pile up on a highway. These are things that happen every day, multiple times a day. And once again, just to show you guys, and I'm sure you've seen it, and we're going to get into some of the gear that he carries, but it's so convenient to throw this in a backpack. It's so lightweight. You throw it under the seat of a car. Bottom line is like no excuse not to have one of these, especially at the price point.
We actually are piecing together something so you don't have to throw it underneath the seat of your car. But first, we do have Lima Whiskey Foxtrot. That dude is absolutely awesome. If you guys need a solid patch and you want to support another small 2A business, Lima Whiskey Foxtrot, he is a great dude.
Love it. Love it. Appreciate you being in here.
But so we got a so it's a poly panel that hooks to your headrest, and it's universal. And we've woven, instead of using the MOLLE straps, we've using the one wrap so it can hold really, really tight and snug. So it's not sitting there sagging and bouncing around. We're going to be adding these to the site soon for car kit.
Nice, man.
So that just to make it a little bit easier, so you're not digging through last week's McDonald's underneath your seat trying to find your kit and just pulling out nothing but French fries. It'll make it just a little bit more car friendly. And then Angry Sarge actually was helping me put together and find a necessity pieces for a car catch kit, so you can restock your trauma kit if you end up having to use it in the field, if you're put in like a really, really bad situation where the IFAK is not going to do it. He has been a plethora of knowledge that he has tossed towards us, which has been absolutely amazing on kind of refining our bigger kits. That
That's
has
awesome.
been an absolute blessing having him help us out. So shout out to Angry Sarge. And then where you were saying even though the kits look tactical, like tactical, all that, whatever, they truly are not just for the shooting community.
Yeah.
But I do feel that if there's one piece missing, like everybody loves guns. Everybody loves shooting them, range time, gun events, competitions, any of that. But nobody really gets into the dirt of having to talk about the trauma care if something on the range were to go completely sideways.
Yeah.
On the range, everything is, you're either in a lane that's within 3 feet of somebody, or you're within, such close proximity. Any injury is going to be very severe. There's no real way around it. And being able to be that bridge that can help bring that to the spotlight and at the price point where anybody can afford it, that has been crucial to, I think, what has made Crackshot Preparedness successful and has built our name. The
100%.
only price adjustment that we've done is we have moved from the non-NAR tourniquets to NAR Gen 7 cat tourniquets. We did have to adjust our price just a smidge on that, but we're more so eating the rest of the cost of supplying the actual NAR tourniquets. So, it's not a price point thing. It's a preference thing. We
Yeah.
want that name, we want that durability, and we want that peace of mind that's going to come with that. So we did switch that around. So we no longer are, unless it's a training tourniquet that you're wanting to order with the kit, we are not tossing in the Rhino Rescue or anything other than NAR tourniquets. So we definitely push that along. And G23, I'm actually working on getting approval for a because you have to use a certain POS system for the HSA FSA. I'm working with somebody to get me the right POS system to be able to have HSA and FSA approval, and that should be hopefully by July. You should be able to purchase our kits with a health savings account or flex spending account.
That's awesome. And guys, real quick, for you folks that just jumped in, just so you know, sometimes it might look like I'm looking down. My camera's way above my monitor for this live stream. So I do apologize. I'm looking at the camera now, but when Crackshot talks, I tend to look down. Anyway, quick shout out to everyone in the audience, though, also. Lima, Whiskey, Foxtrot, appreciate you being in here. I know you know Crackshot.
I see Thomas in there too.
Always good to see you. What's up, Thomas? Always blessed to have Chris from the 740 in here as well. Super exciting. So, guys, appreciate all you guys in here. Really appreciate it. We haven't done a live stream in a long time, so it's good to see everybody. And you know what? Crackshot, I'm going to pull up your website and drop it in the chat.
Okay.
But in the meantime, why don't you tell folks the price point on these IFAK kits? I know, like, dude, for what you get, and I'm not trying to sell. Listen, I wouldn't have Crackshot on this live stream if I was just trying to sell some BS. But like I said, for what he's doing and what you get, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Well, that price point, most competitor kits that don't have quite as much stuff in them, there's actually almost an identical pouch kit, all that minus the contents. Their basic kit runs over $200, and if you do a higher loadout in that kit, you are pushing $300 for ultimately what we're selling for $150. So, there is a hell of a lot of markup that comes with this branch of the industry, or just your trauma first aid is it's kind of a specialized avenue
Yeah.
where you kind of could charge what you want, because if it's trauma care, something happens, you need it.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go that avenue. We wanted to stick with the original price of them was $138, and we've moved it to 150. So we're eating half the cost of the NAR tourniquets. So it's bigger for us to get these in the hands of as many people as possible, not just 2A industry, but like you're saying, hikers, campers,
Yeah.
law enforcement officers. It really doesn't matter who comes and gets them. We just want to get them into as many people's hands as possible, and then we can move to the training aspect of it, to not just have them have it, but have them know how to use it. And then Whiteside Tactical, they just got a big certification for their business. Everybody could look them up too. They have been absolutely awesome, and their classes are, from what I've seen, top notch. Their lives, they cover great topics, from mental health all the way through the stop the bleed stuff. They Another big shout out to them. They are absolutely phenomenal. But the biggest piece is, getting the stuff in hand and then learning how to use it. That's the big push on this.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, what's up, Joe VAQ? Apologies, man. Definitely big shout out to Joe VAQ.
Yeah.
And Crackshot, you bring up a great point, right? It's something I'm going to put on the calendar this year, especially now that I'm doing a lot more shooting. Most of the stuff I do is by myself in the woods. So, number one, I always got your kit with me. But number two, I got to actually take a class. There's some things I'm confident with, and the other things I'm just going to be real with everyone out there. And that's the cool thing about this too, right? Is like, once again, you don't have to be an expert. It's always time to learn this stuff, regardless how old you are. And it's funny, I had a little lull in my life, right, when I was working in the city back in the day and everything else. But you hit that, I don't want to call it the midlife crisis, but I'm doing more adventurous shit now than I was doing in my early 30s, right? I feel like I just got to get it out of me. But listen, training is super important. So, and that's what I appreciated last time too. Once again, you're not just selling these, like, you know how to use a lot of this stuff. I know in a minute, guys, we're going to get into what Crackshot typically carries on a daily basis. I know we always talk about like bug out bags and go bags. There's so many different names for these bags, right? And I think some YouTubers get so caught up with like everything, but regardless what you call it, you should always have some type of bag that has certain things that you can use in whatever emergency situation. And knowing how to use those things is super important. So that's one thing I'm going to do more of this year, especially when it comes to some of the stuff that's in my IFAK. But yeah, I mean, Crackshot, if you want to talk about a little bit of what you carry, and I know if you just want to tell the audience too, I know what you put into these kits and what you're putting into future kits, the stuff that you use.
Yep. So most of the ideas of what we put in the kits is as realistic use stuff as you possibly can have, and it's multi-use. So we have your elastic gauze, we have a wound packing gauze roll, we have compressed gauze, we have compressed hemostatic gauze. All of those can be moderately interchanged on wound packing, depending on how severe it is. If you're not able to get the bleeding to stop, I mean, in my opinion, if you can put a tourniquet on it to get the blood to at least slow down, that's going to help you pack the wound properly to get the blood to stop flowing once the minor cuts, because you're not just looking at femoral artery or the brachial artery. any major blood vessel, there's tiny little blood vessels around it. So if you get the major bleeding stopped, you're still
Yeah.
potentially losing blood with the smaller bleed. So that aspect of it is pack it till it stops. Then use obviously the tourniquet to do flow control while you're trying to do that. And don't be afraid to cinch the tourniquet down past the point of comfortability, because if you're comfortable when you have a tourniquet on, it's not tight enough. The other piece is we have the Israeli bandage. That one is I would say a pretty versatile bandage. I can actually pull one out here. So the design of it is, I think, absolutely awesome.
And real quick, while you do that, just going back to the tourniquet.
Yeah.
Is there a certain time frame, like, I've done some reading. Obviously, once again, I got to educate myself. But is there a time frame on like when the tourniquet is on too long, and then I think they have to amputate, or is that?
I think mostly that's, I would say, case by case, depending on what, like how high you have it. But if it's on for an extended period of time, there is tissue death, and that's a real concern. But at that point, it's like,
Doesn't matter. Yeah, you're trying to. Yeah.
my life my life has been saved. So do I care if the limb has to be taken off because I still have my
Yeah.
life?
Yeah.
So it's it's kind of like those old Ronco commercials. You just set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the goal is to get them to the hospital before tissue death. But in some instances, like I was working in the oil field and we were 2.5 hours away from anything. The emergency response was flight for life helicopter. If that didn't show up, good luck. So
Yeah.
and the amputation whole process of that, if the proverbial shit hit the fan, is not pretty. So we'll just hope that scenario doesn't happen. But I honestly would rather keep my life and lose a limb than not get it tight enough and bleed out before help gets there.
Yeah. 100%.
But so this is a solid blood stopper. This is just the 4-inch. They have 6-inch, they have 8-inch, then they have, speaking of amputation, they have stub Israeli wraps, which are massive. And so ultimately, you get this, say your wound is right here. You're going to put that main pad over the top of it. You are going to tuck. You're going to get the other band up and through. See this weird smiley face looking toggle? See if you can see it on my shirt there.
Yeah.
That thing. You're going to weave through one way. Make sure you get the fabric, and then you're going to cinch that sucker down. Obviously, it's harder to do with one hand, but you end up cinching this down as tight as you can get it, and you wrap back on itself until you run out of wrap. And tighter the better. I mean, if you got a tourniquet on, you're still got blood coming. This is going to be a kind of a fabric tourniquet. And then you wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap. Getting lots of pressure on top of that wound. That smiley face, you kind of want to sit directly over the center of your wound, because that's where the major pressure is going to end up pushing down. Once it folds over, it shoves that pressure down on that bandage. And then right at the end of your fabric piece, you have these little hooks. And that is what you're going to end up tucking onto itself to retain. As you can see, once you wrap it tight, this thing gets springy.
Yeah.
You get it, and you actually will tuck it there.
You make it look easy, man.
You may have done this a time or two. I don't know. Yeah. That's what it looks like. And then you got it. See how it's tucked in there.
And for the folks out there that, aren't familiar with this, like I said, I know, like I learned a lot on the last one. I'm learning a lot tonight. What kind of class do you recommend, Crackshot? Like, is it Stop the Bleed? Do they teach all of this? Is there something else? Is it like, obviously it's not just a one and done thing. You want to train as often as possible, but what are like some of your recommendations?
So a basic first aid and CPR is a good starting point. That usually is going to cover, minor bleeds to severe bleeds, but not in as great of detail as the Stop the Bleed class. It's a truly general overview on what you're going to need to do to render that first aid.
Yeah.
If it is there's a difference between first aid and trauma care. So if it's a camping accident where you bounced the hatchet off and got into your shin or your hand or your foot or anything like that, that can be a pretty decent enough trauma. But the real trauma stuff is like car accidents, active shooters, chainsaw stuff, explosions where there is multiple pieces of your body that are affected. Yeah. And what we have in our kit doesn't just go to address one wound. It is enough stuff. The redundancy in there is if you're bleeding or if somebody is bleeding heavily from multiple areas, it gives you the opportunity to give them a fighting chance on getting help while addressing those multiple wounds or severely hemorrhaging wounds. That's why this can technically be cinched down above a wound in a makeshift tourniquet if you've already used your tourniquet. But the redundancy factor is in my head, as the prepper minded individual, is 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So I need 2 different versions of one thing to make it count as one thing. That's why there's the elastic gauze, wound packing gauze. On top of that, there is the compressed gauze, the hemostatic gauze. There is the tourniquet. There is the Israeli bandage. There is also our chest seals that comes with 2 of those. You get 2 pairs of gloves. You get, so let's see, tourniquet, compressed gauze, hemostatic gauze, gauze roll, elastic gauze, nasal airway with lube, Israeli bed. Yeah. So I think that pretty much covers everything that's in the kit, but it's a redundancy factor. I mean, technically, even the bungees that come on there, you can crank those things onto somebody, tie a hell of a knot with that, and act as a makeshift tourniquet if need be.
Yeah, I love it, man. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but while we're just talking about it, I know you have some other stuff planned for down the road. Is that something you could talk about, or is it kind of like under the seals as far as like some of the other kits you got coming out? I don't want to put you on the spot at all.
Well, one pretty big thing that we got is we might be getting to be in our very first store.
Nice.
Triple J Armory was gracious enough to reach out to us, and had a meeting with them 2.5 weeks ago, and they're going to have a specialized to them loadout for what they requested, and
that's awesome, bro.
They're really liking the kits so far, so that's cool. We haven't heard back fully yet, so I'm putting the positive vibes out there that we got that one locked down, but that'll be our first retailer. And then we have we're going to be going to Goals this year.
Oh, nice.
And we are going to go to obviously Gunsert. We're a sponsor, and we get to go to the event, hang out, which is
It's going to be awesome,
Amazing.
bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then kit wise, when at the Gunsert event, we're going to bring on our first live, I mentioned that one of one get home / bug out bag. I'm going to have that.
I can't wait to see this, man.
It's not full. It's not fully built yet because I was like, whatever. But it is going to be this big boy here. This is the Condor Elite Titan.
Nice.
I
love the gray, man. That's gray or is it my eyes?
This is gray. Yeah, it's their stealth gray.
I love the gray.
And then on the bottom, just a quick view of what's packed in there. We got a cooking set. We've got vacuum sealed toilet paper because you know what? Sometimes leaves suck.
Yeah, you got that right.
You got life tent and 2 life bivvies. And then on the outside, we have D-rings. We've got one knife. It's a Kershaw knife. And it is non-spring assisted, but it is a very stout locking folder.
So let me ask you, and not to cut you off at all, that bag right there with what you're showing, and I know it's not fully built out, but is that like official, like what it's going to, so far, what like some of the contents are going to be?
Yes. So we do have the back, the Elite loadout on the website. There is obviously, you can always add stuff to it. We have extra stuff on the website, but the idea was build this with the basics of survival in mind, with some redundancies, and then leave you the space to either add what you want once you get it to your house, or you can go through the offerings that we have on the website, and you can pick and choose what you want, and we'll get it packed in and organized for you and send it out.
That's awesome. Oh man, that's awesome, man. What you got in it so far? I love that bottom compartment. How everything is like modularized.
And that does have a zipper that sits right above it on the inside, so it keeps everything in that pocket all contained by itself, or you can unzip it on the inside and have that extra storage space for bigger items.
Nice, man. And what do you have in that bottom pouch again?
The bottom pouch is a cooking set. I'll actually yank this sucker out. So it's a cooking set. It's a pot, pan, cup kind of combo. It's the compact version. So it's got silicone handles to it. So there's one piece.
Love it. I'm such a nerd for this stuff. I love it.
And then you have your actual little pot, and this holds 2 and 3 cups. 3 cups of water, 24 ounces. Yeah, that's 3 cups of 8 ounces per cup. Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3.
Don't even have
math. Then you have some little plastic bowls. You have a old school cleaning sponge that grandma used.
Oh, nice.
Super durable. It's like a legit sea sponge.
Yeah.
And then you got a couple little lid. Got a cooking spoon / spatula. And then you've got your foldable fork, spoon, and knife.
Love it.
As well as another D-ring, carabiner, and you have a little rocket stove.
Oh, love it. You know, the other thing about these packs, listen, everyone should have some kind of pack for an emergency, everything else, but it's cool also to go out there and have fun and use these things, right? Like go hiking, cook some emergency food on your little stove. Like if you got kids, like I don't have kids, but this year I got to get my nephew more involved. But I think it's something another thing, like we don't talk about in the community as much. I guess we do, but when we're reviewing all of this stuff, it's like it's also just a fun time to get out there on the weekend and use it. Because God forbid you do have to use it in an emergency.
Yep.
You know,
And you don't know what you're doing.
yeah.
That's. I mean, I will say there's something to be had for, having those basics and this is not a diss on classrooms, and classroom learning, but having that classroom learning stuff and then finding yourself in a oh shit situation, and then you're like, I don't know how to, my fingers aren't working. I don't
Yeah.
remember how to do this piece over here. I don't remember how to do that piece over there. Getting yourself to perform under some sort of stressful environment is going to be so incredibly beneficial for if that worst case scenario happens,
Facts.
you can still do it.
Yeah.
Hold
And
on,
it's good to
I
get
might
on.
have a visitor. Hold on.
Oh,
You want to come in and say hi? Yeah. Okay.
hey.
This is one of the minions.
Too cute.
Can you say hi to everybody? Hi.
Hey. Everybody say hello.
This is Ozzy, by the way. Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Spider-Man. You Spider-Man? Yeah.
This is
Your
fun.
dad,
Yep.
your dad is a big TV star.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah. Buddy. You come
Too
to say
cute.
hi. Time for bed?
That's what it's all about, man. Is I love it.
But yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. In a
Yeah.
stressful environment, and you have people counting on you, whether it be your kids, whether it be I ate some of his hair, whether it be your kids, wife, significant other family members. You have the basics. They're looking to you if they have no idea where to move, what to do, what's the first step. They're looking to you on this stuff, and you're like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel like that's a viable option, and it's a big reason why I got so into this is I don't want to ever have a situation or a scenario where I can't perform. I cannot, make that fire. I cannot, uh, or don't have the knowledge of how to make the water safe to drink, any of that, and that weighed on my mind for a long time until I took that initiative to learn and to do it under a stressful environment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Hey, you bring up a good point. Another thing you're knowledgeable about, we spoke about it. I'd love you to share it with the audience. Water filtration, right? For you guys to know, I'm in Yonkers, New York. I'm in an urban environment, right? So, number one, the whole SHTF conversation, the whole bugging out. Not that I laugh at my friends. We always go back and forth, but I'm like, listen, for any guys that live in the fucking New York area, excuse my language, traffic on a normal day without an emergency situation is like ridiculous. So let alone that's a whole nother conversation for a different day. But you did bring up a great point earlier. In my bug out bag, I have water filtration. I have multiple. You know how you said you got to have multi. So I have like the Sawyer water filtration, but I have the Ketadine too, which is the cap is the filter. But you were speaking about specifically in an urban environment, and I'd love for you to share some of that when it relates to water filtration.
Yeah. So, and it's on the urban side of it. It's not all just the filtration side. It's where we're going to be able to find it. If say worst case scenario grid goes down, the water treatment plants are. I mean, you'll have a certain amount of pressure in the line and clean water in the line before you get the real nasties.
Yeah.
We're actually sitting in a situation like that right now. We have some water main construction going on in our neighborhood. We got a notice that said, from tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. there will be no water. They are completely shutting it off. And we have in our house a Berkey filter, And that Berkey filter, it gets most of the major contaminants out. We have the fluoride filter as well, the arsenic filter, the actual carbon cartridges. They can get the majority of everything out. But when we went to fill it up after getting this notice on our door, there is so much heavy metal sediment in the water that our water right now is orange. It's tinged orange.
Wow. That's
And
scary, man.
doesn't necessarily smell good either. Do I want to contaminate my filter system with that?
No.
Because even though you're tossing in and it's supposed to filter everything out, it's not going to get all those heavy metals out. That's a multi treatment that you have to do, and you can do that with a primitive water filtration system, which is you can do it in just a normal bottle of like a 2-liter bottle. Cut the butt end of it off, and you're going to end up putting it in a bucket or holding onto it. However you want to end up mounting it, you can poke holes in it and suspend it by paracord. But you're going to need a capture device as the water goes through it. But it's cloth, charcoal, grass. You're going to do gravel, sand, more gravel, like larger gravel, and then a little bit more. I would put charcoal on the top of it, just to try to get as much of that nasty stuff out. But the activated charcoal, from your fire pit to anything like that can work on getting major nasties out of there. But after that, I would say boil it. I believe it's 3 minutes per gallon of boil time to make sure every last parasite or bacteria is completely toast.
Interesting.
That won't affect you. But there's also, a few drops of bleach per gallon. But not just that, it's where to find it. In a situation like this, if the grid were down, water's completely contaminated, compromised, whatever, the places that you can find it, you may need one of these guys, which is a Silcock key for city water.
I was thinking about you. I think you brought this up when we were talking, but I'll let you describe it. As I was walking by the CVS the other day, and they had it looked like the faucet on the side. Is that what you use on the side of like a building?
Yep. Any of the city buildings should have a spigot sitting at some point of the outside of that building.
Yep.
Obviously, they don't get used very much, so there's going to be water pressure in that piping. Can be very limited if everything's down. It's going to be limited. You may get a few gallons of decent water. It's probably going to come out in a trickle, but patience is
Come handy.
Yeah.
Can you show that again? I gotta pick.
Yes.
I gotta stop procrastinating. I gotta pick one of those up. And where can you pick it up? Just a normal hardware store?
They're all over Amazon. They're hardware stores. They're Army surplus stores. I haven't seen them in Home Depot for a long time, but I'll put it on this thing so you can see it a little bit better. And there's a couple different types.
I'm missing it.
There's a few different sizes that should fit any of the city water spigots. And then there's another one that it looks like an old school skull key that kind of sticks down on one side, but it has 4 adapters as well. It's a utility power and water Silcock key. That one is packed in the bag that's in my truck right now.
Nice.
But so you can use the municipal water. They have those at rec centers. They have it anything that has a car wash. Like you said, the gas station, some of those have them.
Yeah.
If you're brave enough and you have a big enough wrench, you could technically do that to a fire hydrant. don't
You see that a lot down
necessarily,
here in the city in the summer.
yeah, don't necessarily condone ripping that sucker open, but dire situation. Um,
Yeah.
but you got city ponds, golf courses, RV dump stations usually have potable water. Um, vending machines, kick that vending machine in and grab the bottles. Keep the bottles.
Smart.
Don't throw those away because you can use those later.
Smart.
You can get bleach or pool shock to help treat. But any container that you can boil the water, carry the water. It's kind of the 5 C's of survival: or cordage, containers, cutting tool, core temperature, and combustion device. Um, so containers, that goes to these guys, and your redundancy would be, a stainless
Yeah.
water bottle. You can use that to boil as well.
That's awesome. Hey, and for you folks that just joined, I appreciate it. I'm just going to call it out again because I'm watching as I'm doing it, but my camera's off today. So when Crackshot's talking, I'm looking down. I'm trying to keep my eyes on the camera, but I got to look at him when he's talking. I'm just used to looking at people. But no, you bring up a lot of good points, man. And this is like, dude, this type of information is like priceless when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Speaking about the 5 C's, what are you using for communications? That's something I'm also not as familiar with. I got a ham radio. Obviously, it's more for just listening on my side, but super interested in that aspect of it.
So we do on a bit of our redundancy plan. We have 3 different types of communication that we can use. We've got, dropped it. Hopefully that still works after that. We got our Midland. It's supposed to be 36 mile with the houses and trees and any of that stuff in the hill country. The range is 2 miles at best. But this is encryptable. So I can have my own channel that nobody can hear programmed on each one of mine, that I can flip this on, call out to it. Nobody, unless they know how to actually do the coding, can actually crack this.
Pretty cool.
And it's a multi-channel, so I can hear what's going on out and about and around me. And then I just hit a series of buttons and I'm back onto my channel. So there's, those in the vehicles, there's those in the house, but the longer range stuff, we do have the
Oh, you got the
thing.
series antenna. I could already tell. Yeah.
So this is my get on the roof and extend this thing and hear for quite a ways. But it's also collapsible and on.
And which bale thing is that? I got one. My antenna's not that big. I wonder if I'm not sure if I could put that antenna on mine.
It's an Aubrey antenna, and it is doesn't tell me the wattage of it, but it's specifically built for bale things and the port that it has. So any walkie that or ham
So
radio.
hold on. Let me grab mine real quick. Maybe I can.
But this one is the UV5R MK5, but it's the boosted one. So it does have a little bit farther range when you put the big boy battery on it.
Yeah, I guess. Let's see.
Yeah, I do believe that is the same size.
This is
Yeah,
small.
that's the one I got.
Interesting, man.
So is that the
This is a small
UV5R?
one. It's the BF8 HP, I think.
Yeah, that's the more compact version of this one, but it still has the same antenna threading.
It's funny. This I got to learn more. Like I said, I just listen in. Like This is something that's been real helpful in an urban area because it's funny when you hear like shit going on outside, you don't got to run downstairs. You could just,
Yeah.
even though a lot of the local stuff is now encrypted, you'd be surprised at some of the stuff you pick up on this, man.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And one thing, so you do have to technically have your ham license to operate this in normal
Correct.
everyday life,
Yep.
but in a state of emergency,
That's out the window, right?
yep, you technically can, without call sign, call out for help.
Okay.
So there's a lot of ham guys that are probably just irritated with that, because emergency situation, the shortwave, the ham radios, all that stuff is going to be used, because it's pretty well the only one that can technically survive like a coronal mass ejection or an EMP, just
Yeah.
because of how simplistic it is as an operating system. So if there is a whole bunch of people all over the place trying to talk in the same channels, that's not good. But reserve it for emergencies. And you don't have to be technically an operator in a state of emergency to call out for help. So just want to toss that out there.
No, that's awesome.
And then for our personal longer range walkie-talkies, we have the HYT TC700. This is kind of a hybrid between the Midland and the Baofeng, and it has programmable to not as thoroughly programmable as the Midland as far as encryption, but this runs on a sub frequency that is just below. So like if I tried to connect this one to the Midland, you wouldn't be able to hear me even if I was attempting to talk on the same channel, because
Oh, wow.
their encryption is in their sub channel is just below the hertz of the Midlands.
Interesting.
So I cannot talk to the Midlands with this. These are only talkable to other versions of this, the hybrid. And these give us about 10 miles regardless of
Oh, wow.
ultimately where we're at.
That's
and you can-
huge.
and you can tie these into just like the Baofeng or a CB. You can tie it into a whip antenna on your vehicle and extend your range if you need to. So those are my communications. If those don't work, I'm sending smoke signals, man.
And Carvin, you bring up a great point. I know too,
Yes.
I had some technical guy at my job, and communicating long range on this radio might burn it out, I think. There's certain things where this, you can only push it so far. I also, for two-way conversation.
Yes.
So there's definitely a lot of research that's another thing I want to get into, is kind of like the ham radio and all of that stuff. That's just an interesting topic, man.
Yeah, and with the ham radio stuff, it's like they have their own language. So Carbon is 100% right. If you can learn that and the proper protocol, even if you have to create your own call sign so it feels better to use it, so they don't look at you like, who the hell is this guy? Do it and truly go through and take a basics class, just like that first aid thing. If you take a basics class, you're already 10 steps ahead of the average Joe.
Yeah.
So it's important stuff. It really is. And then, having your backup plan for if all communications are down, that to me looks like, a meeting point with a specific timeline or time frame to get there. If you haven't showed up, then you move to your secondary position, and then you have another X amount of days to get to that position. But ultimately, if you have loved ones or family members waiting around for 6 months for you to show up when they were only supposed to wait for 6 weeks, they're potentially putting themselves at risk with the hope that you're going to get to that first spot while you already have moved to that second spot because you missed your first time window. So that
Yeah.
redundancy has to definitely be made.
Yeah, you're right. The other thing too, you bring up, you brought up a great point, and I always say that too. Like I was talking about the SHTF and urban environment and getting out is having a spot, right? Kind of assuming communications might be down and everything else. With that being said, and I don't want to go off topic at all. You just bring so much knowledge to the table. But GPS, man, what are you using? How knowledgeable are you with like maps? That's a whole nother area I'm getting into. Is map reading? I don't have experience doing it. It's something I want to get into. But what do you think about like GPS, and what are you using, if anything?
Depending on what causes the we'll say the downtime event, if you could have your location that you want to go to screenshot on your phone, because if most electronics are down, if an EMP happens, phones are probably down anyway. But
Yeah,
if by some random chance your phone does work, pictures are going to be important. So GPS probably won't work. So having a screenshot of stages of travel to get to your spots is important.
smart.
The other piece of it is the old school trail maps for your area, as well as the new updated atlases. The true road maps, because nowadays a lot of roads that used to be in service are impassable now because they've been rerouted or stuff's happened. And always have, I've said a lot in this live, the redundancies. Always have,
So very important.
A through G on travel path. Because if it's unsafe to travel by car, you might have to take a bike. So do you have the travel path for a bike? Do you have travel path for foot? Which one's going to be safer? Which one's going to be quicker? And there's a big piece of being the gray man, even if you have a working vehicle. Kind of hard to do that, but threat assessment at that point is you have a place to be. You have people that you love waiting on you. You don't stop for anybody. So that's one big thing. And always have a compass. Always large compass, medium compass, and then a button compass is I think absolutely crucial. And knowing how to set your waypoint. So say you have to walk away from your vehicle to go get water.
Yeah.
And it's wintertime and a crazy blizzard kicks off and you can't see 5 feet in front of you. You know that you know where north is, but you don't know where your vehicle is oriented from north. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that actually saved my ass elk hunting in the mountains. Got caught in a blizzard. I was 9 miles from the car. And if I would not have set my point or my the vehicle's location from true north, I would have been out there for a long time.
It's funny. I got a compass, right? And it's been years since I've used it, probably since I was a kid. But now, once again, it's getting nice out. I'm big into hiking.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start doing stuff less technology, more old school map, finding waypoints and all of that stuff. Plus, it's another thing. It goes back to having a good time with this stuff, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be like a negative. Doesn't have to always be a negative to use a lot of stuff.
And exercising that stuff is super, super fun. And like the kiddos, getting to teach them and hand down this information.
It's priceless.
Because goes back to that book, like the lost arts, right? Like,
Yeah.
man, we rely on our compass on our phone,
Yeah.
you know?
Like you said, that stuff will all go down. If something really happens, all of that shit's going to go down anyway.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Hey, let me ask you a question, man. I know we spoke about the gun concert coming up. You're going to go to Goals. What can we do? How can we help you out? Obviously, promote what you're doing and everything else. But I guess, what other goals do you have this year? I know you're trying to do so much stuff, and it's probably hard. Between your full-time job and doing what you're doing, I'm sure it's not the easiest thing in the world, and you got a family on top of it. But what are some things that folks could do, and what are some of your expectations this year? I know someone told me back in the day, they said, if you achieve all of your goals, you didn't set them high enough. But I guess you got a lot of stuff cooking this year, but like, what's your ideal finish of 2025, and how can we as a community help you get there to the best of our ability?
I know,
I know that's a tough
question.
question.
Yeah, that's throwing the deep ones at me here. No, I'd say, what the community can do is, get the word out. If you guys like what we're doing, and you believe in it as heavily as we do,
Yeah.
and say you want to hand out business cards to help promote us, hit me up on Instagram in the DMs, or we have our email, customer service at crackshotpreparedness.com. Shoot me an email, say, hey, I'm not able to buy anything right now, or I don't necessarily need to buy anything right now, but I got some family members or friends, or I just want business cards to hand out for you guys. We would love that.
Yeah.
And then sharing our content obviously helps us out. The community and the people that I've met, y'all have been amazing at throwing our content out there. And it's been pretty overwhelming. You guys have helped us out so much already, but the biggest thing is, believe in us, and share as best you can. That's the best support that we got. And if you feel like you want one of our kits, that is also supporting us to get our name out there as well. So kind of goes hand in hand. If you see us at an event, come say hey. We would love to talk to you and get to know as many of you as possible, because this community is important to us. And if our kit, God forbid, ever had to be deployed in service, that's one big thing. We hope that it serves every single person well that has purchased one. And if they've purchased one and it's going to help somebody else, we hope that it serves them well in that situation. That is, I would say the biggest goal is, even though we don't want it to happen, testimonials on if it actually did have to be used. Getting to hear how it did would be, I mean, that's a major goal for us to hear back on that. And then setting the bar really high on how we end 2025. Obviously, getting to go to some of these events, getting to meet you guys, getting to promote and get our name out farther across the country. So far, we have sold to 29 states.
Wow, 29 states?
29 different states. Yeah, we've got a kit in 29
Good for
different
you,
states.
man.
Dude. But we'd love to be in all 50. I don't know how we're going to ship to Hawaii or get it up to Alaska. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, worry about that after. Hey, let me ask you. Speaking of the gun concert, do you have a booth? Are you bringing product out there? How does that work? Why don't you tell the folks when it is? I don't know if any of you guys are going to be able to make it, but huge event. And yeah, Nate, what are you going to have out there?
So we are going to be having vendor status, as well as we're going to be helping out the medics on site.
Oh,
We're
wow.
going to be loading them up. Haven't figured out how many we're sending out yet, but for the medics and RSOs, we are going to have a kit for each one of them.
Sweet.
We are also going to have a vendor table where we're going to toss as many kits on there as we possibly can, and if we sell out, we sell out. If we don't, we don't, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
We will also have a couple of our car catch kits that we're going to bring with us. Those ones are a little bit more on the limited availability, so we can stuff the trauma kits with as much goodies as we can. And then we are also going to do that big ass backpack that I was showing. This is going to be plumb full. We're going to do, and as long as it's allowed, if I'm breaking any rules, I take it back. But we are going to do a we'll say a investment raffle. Not sure how we're going to do ticket wise and what each ticket costs, but at the end of Gunsert, I would like to raffle this off and send this home with somebody.
Nice.
So,
Now,
that'll be going with.
I don't want to spoil it, but what's in don't say anything if you can't say anything, but what's that going to look like fully built out?
You are going to cover the 5 C's of survivability, which is again the cordage, container, cutting tool, core temperature, combustion devices, as well as the redundancies for those 5.
Yep.
And then we're actually going to up that a little bit. Let me find my note here. So we call it the 10 C's plus. So you have those first 5. But how we break it down is cutting tool, cover elements, container. It'll have a 64-ounce stainless water jug. Cordage will have paracord and microcord. Cotton material will have shimogs and bandanas. Cargo tape, we'll have a full roll of the Gorilla tape. That one is extremely versatile. We'll have a mini roll of normal duct tape. And we'll have the candling devices. We'll have our mini flashlight, which is actually back here. So we're going to be tossing in the flashlights that we use are
big things. I mean, this kit is like next level, bro.
It's gonna have a lot of goodies in it. Mini flashlight, we use the Streamlight Mini, and then
Nice.
for our medium size one, the one that I carry is the Streamlight ProTac HL, mostly because they are USB chargeable, and you're gonna get.
You guys are not cutting any corners. Oh, I got this, by the way, man. This 28-watt solar. I have that in my bug out bag.
It is awesome.
Dude, it is awesome. And if you want to show it unfolding, but
yeah,
guys, that thing you could actually throw in your backpack when you're hiking and let it dangle and charge as you're hiking. Like you don't have to stop and let that thing sit in the sun.
In full sunlight, it acts as the rapid charger. It is impressive. And
dude,
it has
super impressive.
3 ports, and they're 2.4 amp per port. So it is like a true boost charging, for your iPhone or for your Androids, that quick charging device. So you'll have those candling devices. We're also going to be tossing in some lower lumen chem lights. And then we'll have a canvas repair kit. We'll have a large compass and a medium compass. We'll have combustion device. We're going to kind of lump a lot of stuff in there. It'll be what our actual fire kit that we're going to end up putting on our website eventually. We're going to have those in there, which will include, wherever I put it, the magnesium shaving pouches,
Love it.
as well as I really like these. So there's ferrocene rods that are usually round. I really prefer the hexagonal one. Gives you a lot more strike surface.
It's funny, dude. I don't think I've seen one of those before.
So it's when it throws sparks, you have a complete flat area that mates to whatever you're striking it with, and it gives off, I think, double the spark and heat that the round ones do.
Yeah, yeah.
It's way more efficient in my mind. The backup to that is going to be the Scallywag Tactical Wanderer. This one is actually the short video that I have on Instagram of me lighting some, like, the little bird nest grass
That was
balls
a great video, by the way, man. Yeah.
And the reason why I like this knife so much is the back spine of this it's not sharp to like cut you, but it's sharp, very, very steep 90-degree angle on that. So when you're actually sliding it across, whether it's the round one or the flat one, it's getting some good bite, and you are getting some really good sparks coming off of this, which helps ignite the magnesium shavings. So the efficiency on starting the fire this knife is absolutely awesome. And it comes
And I
with
just
a
want to go back to,
redundancy.
too, once again, this is a guy, which you guys all know. I know a lot of you guys know Nate in the chat, but once again, this isn't a guy that just sells shit. Like, he's out there using it. He's doing videos on it. Like, that goes a long way, in my opinion, right? Especially for someone that is not as knowledgeable, right? When you buy stuff, you want to buy it from a guy that's actually using it. And it's so cool. Now, that company, I saw that video with the knife. Are you doing stuff with them? And do you want to say anything about what's the name again? I don't want to say it wrong.
Scallywag Tactical. I have been buying their knives for 8 or 9 years. I have a lot of them.
They seem pretty cool. I saw you post a few of them.
Yeah, they have been absolutely amazing to me. Really have never been disappointed on any of their knives. Folders they have. Let me see if I got one over here. Actually, I got it in this bag. Hold on one second. They have a folder that is. Nope, that's not it. I think that one's upstairs. But they have folders. They have the Wanderer. I mean, their bushcraft knife. They got tactical knives. This one here is a discontinued one, but might as well show you. This one is actually on my battle belt.
Oh, that's sweet, bro.
And I've beat the hell out of this thing.
It looks like a thick blade, man.
Yeah, it's a stout blade, and that edge refuses to give up. Absolutely refuses. But if you so it's scallywagtactical.com. We do have the link in our bio on Instagram. And if you use Crackshot Prep at checkout, it gets you a discount. So
awesome.
Like I said, they have been awesome to us. They were actually the first person that offered us an affiliate discount.
Nice.
After we started our business. And then we do also have, and some of you guys that, if you're in the chat and you've ordered from us, some of you guys have gotten this neck knife from them. So it's just a little guy, but damn is it sharp. And it comes with a necklace and a nice Kydex sheath. And the security, like, it is secure in there. So covert carry on the knife. But yeah, there's a lot of goodies on there, and their blades are always They're always changing. What blades are available? Their blemish sale. I have yet to find one of their blades with an actual blemish on it that has come from their blemish sale. So yeah, they have just been absolutely awesome to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, dude, this bag, I mean, holy shit. It's like, it's awesome. I wish I knew you like 10 years ago when I was building mine out, because mine took like, dude, it took like 3 years to build it out, right? Because like you're researching stuff, you're putting it together, you got to wait for another paycheck. This is like the complete all-in-one bug out slash tactical, whatever you want to call it. But it seems like it's got everything, man.
Yeah, the idea that came behind this bag was we already sifted through all the bullshit, so you guys don't have to. Because everything that is going to be included in this specific bag is stuff that we have personally used and we personally stand behind. Same
Huge.
thing on the bag that we're selling on our website. This one's going to be a bit more loaded out than that one. But the bag that is on our website, it is our elite loadout. We're going to be offering different tiers to make it affordable for a vast array of people. Like $750 is a lot of money, especially in today's realm. So we're going to have the mid grade, and then we're going to have the beginner grade. Haven't figured out the price points on that yet, but each bag starts with the 5 C's, the basics of survival, with the product that we use with that.
That's awesome. And I just put the link for the backpacks, but yeah, we got a question from G23.
You doing an ankle med kit? I mean, I guess I didn't think of that. We could. I mean, it would be, we'd call it a micro mini, maybe something like that. But most of the stuff that we're going to be tossing out there is going to be belt carry, car carry, plate carry, backpack carry, like on your backpack in the Molly. But it's something to think about. We might do that. We might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Always up
question,
for
man.
ideas.
Any when you were talking about the water filtration earlier, any think you'd ever do a video on some of that stuff, man?
For sure. I was looking for this sucker. So you have the Catadine with the cap filter. This one is solid. This one, I want to say it's like 10,000 gallons of water.
Wow.
But it's a hand pump, and I mean, you'll get your workout in. But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, for sure we will. We'll when the summer kicks off and we get a little bit more time, because business on our side for the day job has been a little bit crazy as well. But when we get the time, we're going to be doing quite a few videos. My dad graciously gifted us with a camera and
Nice.
and a computer, so we're going to try to edit together one instructionals on the contents of the trauma kits, as well as the basic bushcraft survival topics. You know, where to find water, because obviously water is first and foremost. Where to find
Huge.
water, how to make your primitive filter,
Right.
the instructional on boiling it, if you're going to disinfect it with bleach or pool shock, and other options that you can do to make it drinkable, and where to find it. Because I mean, you got, whoever thought that you'd be dipping a cup into the back of a toilet to drink some water, right? That's really the only semi-clean place with the toilet. Don't drink out of the bowl. Don't drink out of the bowl. One that's just nasty. But the tank of old school toilets carries water, and it's straight from the same one that comes out of your sink. So once it goes in there, it just sits. I would still boil it just to be safe, but
Yeah.
that's one place. Water heaters, that's another one you can get some water out of. Um, yeah, we'll go through where to find it, how to treat it. We'll go through all that stuff because I really enjoy it.
And for my fellow New Yorkers, the toilet bowl water might actually be safer than some of the local rivers we have out here. Just kidding.
Philip, you are awesome. And speaking of Philip off grid, so we do have a little girl.
Yeah,
not
talk about
so
this, man.
not so little. She's 13, but it's Philip Offgrid's daughter, and he hit her up and said, "Do you want to draw some gun stickers, some tactical stickers?" She's like, on it. This is her first set.
These are so cool, guys. I picked up a few. Check it out.
Yeah. You grabbed a few, and every single one of they're on our site. They're $1 a piece. Each one that you buy is a separate entry in a giveaway, and we are going to be giving away one of our trauma kits. And there's 3 different blades that you can choose from. You can either do the Wanderer from Scallywag Tactical, or you can do their Riptide Spear Point or their Riptide Tanto Point blades, and that will come with the trauma kit and the blade. And all the proceeds for these stickers, and this is just the first batch, she's killing it on designing these things. But they're every last dime that is made off of the sale of these goes to her and supporting her art. So we are
Huge.
not making a single dime off of these. She is making every single cent of these. So I think there's 19 left. And once those are gone, we're going to end up doing that raffle, and we'll get all these out. We started with 60. We sold out within 24 hours. And then we got restocked with 45. And I think we're over halfway through selling those out as well. So let's knock it out of the park. Let's support this little girl. This is the first round of many. And as I posted on Instagram, let's show her how this community supports our kiddos and these big dreams that they have. And let's just keep her going on this stuff because these stickers are awesome.
Yeah, Philip off grid, man. Your daughter did a great job. And guys, what's cooler than a sheep with an AK-47? I mean, come on. That's pretty cool. So yeah, we're looking forward to more designs. And we always say, right, like, listen, everything we do is fun, shooting, hiking, whatever it is, but supporting the kids, being with family. I got to spend more time with my nephew this year. That's what comes first. You know what I mean? Yep. So huge shout out, Philip, to what your daughter's doing, man. Keep up the great job.
Yeah. And, to hit that last piece of the goals of 2025, here's the big goal. Ready? I want to have some land. I would love for us to get big enough to where we can have land to have some of y'all come out and train with us, whether it's shooting or bushcraft on our own property where nobody can mess with us, and we can just focus on the real life application of our kits, the bushcraft, the go bags, and really build a knowledge base with whoever wants to come out and sharing that networking and fellowship out in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, dude, that's a hell of a that's a great goal to have. It's funny, I'm always talking about it. I'm not going to be in New York forever, man. We'll see another few years, but that's what it's all about, man. Community. He said it earlier on too, right? Like, I think just society, we lose a lot of the fucking basics. Excuse my language if the kids are watching, but just simple stuff like fishing or, disconnecting from technology, society, we really lost a lot of the basics. So like I said, not that I'm in a midlife crisis, but I'm spending a hell of a lot more time outdoors and enjoying stuff and having fun and everything else.
You're realigning to what's the most important.
Yeah, exactly. We get caught up with these jobs, right? Like the job takes so much out of us. And with technology nowadays, it's not like a 9 to 5 anymore, right? You're getting bothered on the weekends, nights. If my boss is watching, I'm not talking about you. But he's actually a fan of the channel, which is awesome.
Nice.
But we take a lot of pride in our jobs, and it definitely we don't appreciate the everyday stuff about Earth and nature and everything else. So it's nice to go out there and have fun with a lot of this gear.
Yep. And the comment right before this one from Veronica, Wisconsin would be perfect.
Yeah, Wisconsin would be a dream, man. I've never been to Wisconsin. Have you? I've been to Montana, but I haven't been to Wisconsin.
Yeah. Veronica's actually my wife's best friend.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my wife's family lives up there as well, and it is absolutely beautiful. Lots of trees, lots of woods, like just amazing area. So that would be epic.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. I would love to have some land myself, which would be awesome. I got it for you folks to watch. This is why I haven't done a shooting video in a while, but the range is out here. I can't film, so I got to drive 2 hours to Sullivan County, New York. That's where I do all my outdoor shooting. And that place closes down in the winter. So it just opened up last week. So like I said, we got a lot of shooting content coming on this channel. And Nate, whether it's at one of these events or we make time somewhere else, man, I'd love to meet you in person finally. Maybe I'll come up to Colorado or,
hey, we're open.
Yeah. Hey, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to talk about tonight? I really want to make this about you. Like I said, you got a ton of cool stuff going on. Super supportive of what you're doing.
Sorry, looking around.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. Man, I guess we covered the bags. Covered the new kits.
And we got a message from Carbon Q in the chat.
Stickers sold out. Yes, guys. That is awesome.
Carbon is the best.
Man, I'm gonna tell you right now that Philip is probably jumping up and down right now and probably gonna be texting his little girl telling her that she sold out again. So thank you guys. Awesome.
You guys are the best, man. This is what it's all about. And Carbon, I know we spoke about it. I would love for Carbon to come on the show one day. Mm-hmm. She is, for you folks that know Carbon, man, holy cow, does she do so much for this community? It's one of the reasons me and Nate even met.
Yep.
What she does with the tactical turkeys, but what she does as an individual woman, I think that doesn't get enough credit in the industry. Is crazy. So, Carbon, you're the best.
Yep, you are absolutely awesome. But no, I think we've covered everything. I'll get a better list together next time, and we'll dig into some real crazy good stuff.
It's funny how time goes by. We've been on for an hour and a half. I mean, this was a good list. Nice. I'd love to keep this going too, man. I'd love to have you back on once you get back from the gun cert. That is in June, I believe. No?
Yes, sorry, June 21st. I don't know for sure what the location is on that. I know it's in Illinois, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we will be taking some videos there. Obviously, it is going to be an awesome event. If I skimp on videos, I am going to be really upset with myself. So we'll be working with the turkeys as well in jail gun camp. MD Arsenal, I know, is going to be out there.
Another
Twist is going to be out there.
Guys.
So it'll be as much content as I can grab from that event to share with y'all. Definitely going to do it.
That's awesome. And for you folks that don't follow Crackshot on YouTube, follow him on YouTube. I know you got a great audience on Instagram, but let's get him going on multiple platforms. You know, like I said, listen, lots of folks in the industry, few that are genuinely like starting up like him and really doing some powerful stuff. Just all around, man, the value that he brings, the knowledge that he brings, family guy. I can't say enough about you. So, you know, really appreciate what you're doing. And yeah, I'd love to see you just continue to grow and really explode this year, my man.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, thank you for having me on the beginning of this year. And with all the big news, it did seem pretty fitting that that this is where I get to put a lot of that out. It has been an absolute honor to be in this community and to grow like this. The support that we've gotten, man, I cannot thank y'all enough. So
You're the best.
see y'all out at the.
Let me drop your
Right on.
YouTube link. I didn't have it handy, but hold on one sec.
I don't even know how to do all that stuff yet.
I mean, you know, it's funny. T23 helps me so much. I'm just learning all of this shit. Like he said earlier, he said, listen, something about the maps. He said, if Jeff's map goes down, he's really effed.
But no, as far as the community helping us grow and getting our name out as far as it has reached so far, you guys are absolutely awesome. And I appreciate you all very, very much. And hopefully we get to see you at Goals or at Guncert or, TriggerCon and wherever you're going to end up being. If you see me wandering around, grab me and say, hey, don't be shy about it. And, I'd love to meet as many of y'all as I can.
That's awesome. And just so you know, as you know, we all make different connections in the industry, but if there's anyone in the chat that's connected to companies that you haven't met with yet, or myself, and we could help, you see it on Instagram, who's connected to who. So if there's anyone that you haven't been in contact with that you would like to, also let us know. And we're happy to make warm intros at any time for you. So keep that in mind also.
Appreciate that very much.
Yeah. And other than that, man, it's always a pleasure having Crackshot on. Like I said, this guy's doing big things now. Like I said, it's getting nice out. I shoot by myself when I'm upstate. I'm always alone. I'm going to have this on me. We're going to do more videos, Crackshot. I'm actually going to your point, take a class, start using some of this stuff. So maybe I'll be demonstrating some of this stuff online too. But guys, keep your eyes out. We're going to do a lot more videos on this now that it's getting nice out. And definitely going to have Crackshot back on.
Dude, be an absolute blast to be on again. And just to say that we practice what we preach.
Yeah.
That. So gun belt.
I love it, man.
We have our own kit. We run our own kit on our gun belt. So we definitely practice what we preach.
That's awesome. And for you guys that just joined too, I was blown away. Crackshot is going to be giving the RSOs and the medics on site at Guncert. They're going to be using his kits. So pretty friggin' amazing, man, just to say the least.
Yeah, this is the first sponsor or first event that we've gotten the ability to sponsor. So this is just like very happy to do it. It's been a hell of a year so far. I will say that. An absolute hell of a year.
Well, it's going to keep getting better. Trust me, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Dude, it's unbelievable. Can't thank you enough. And yeah, guys, go subscribe. Go check out his website. We dropped the link for that. Keep tuned on what Nate and Crackshot Preparedness is up to. Because like I said, they're doing big things. And I don't just say that about anybody, but check these guys out. Subscribe to them. And Nate, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to have you back on. And I'm sure we're going to talk more in the coming weeks.
You bet. Thank you very much.
Awesome, brother. Always great to see you.
See y'all.
Take care.